We really wanted to do something that was different. We assembled 1,625 acres surrounded by state and federal land. We went to the county with a master plan of what we wanted to do and ultimately got their approval. This was 1973-74. In doing that, one of the members of the commission came up to me after the meeting and said, you know, now that was a sympathy vote. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? And he says, we gave you that vote of approval and sympathy because we don't think you'll ever do that. I was told when we came out here by the natives in the area in here, there is no water in here. You've got a problem. We brought lots of different people out, but one, I remember a dowser, and we brought him up with a metal rod and so forth, and we stood right out here, and we were around. Really, it was the first time I'd seen it work. And son of a gun, he was either really good at twitching his hands or whatnot, but he had this thing going, and he said, right there, you got water right there. So we dug, and by golly, we hit water. The idea is you have to pump a well for 72 hours, and if it continues to pump the right quantity, then maybe you have something. 24 hours into it, it relinquished the flow and so forth. By 48 hours, we had nothing. And so that was a real disappointment, not to be able to have the water out of our own well here. So we went back to Arizona Water in Apache Junction, and we ran a 12-inch water main from Mountain View Drive all the way out here. And of course it's rock and caliche and hard and very expensive to get it out here. But again, without that, we didn't have anything. And those lines are still the main source of water and so forth for this whole area. This is a picture of Rose Mofford, who was born in Globe, the governor at one time. And Rose and I had become friends, and I asked her if she would come out and do the groundbreaking with us. And I really wanted to do something different for groundbreaking. I was really tired of a shovel and a hard hat and the usual mundane things that people do. So we had, because of building the golf course, we had some guys who were very talented with dynamite, and because we've been doing ditches and so forth up through the rocks. And so we put a big pile of dirt, buried the dynamite in the middle of it, and she was going to set it off at the appropriate time. So this picture shows her, I was showing her how she was going to touch the wires to the battery, and so she said, you mean I want it to do like this? And she set it off prematurely. Nobody was ready. We had a crowd of people there, scared the dickens out of them. This picture shows more of a finished product of what we were attempting to do with the resort itself. And you see Dinosaur Mountain in the background. Now, to go up the side of the mountain and to have carved it off and put homes in there would have been really disrespectful to what this area was all about. You'll notice that the resort was white, and we wanted to make a bold architectural statement by doing and painting it in white, and it stayed that way for many, many years.
You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up.
This is Kenny Rogers when he was doing a Gambler, I think it was maybe Gambler 3 or whatnot, and they were shooting it at Apache Land, which is was around the corner from the resort. His staff had called, wanted to know if he could stay here, which to us meant they wanted some free rooms. But for us, it was going to be a real coup because he was staying with us. And the real part of it that was interesting to us, he was doing a new album. It was sung with Dolly Parton.
Islands in the stream, that is what we are.
The album cover, they were going to shoot it here at the resort. And this was going to be exciting to get to have them do it here. And they took the shot, the album cover, we got a call from their staff one day, the album cover came out, and they sent it to us, and all it was one of the white walls with him standing in front of it, and no mention of Gold Canyon, nothing. So, but anyway, we had fun with it.
A lot of people come out here to retire. They don't want anything to happen, but yet some people do want some more amenities. You know, they do want some nicer restaurants. So is it possible, is it feasible? A study like this can show us.
Developing in the desert and what it means and how it can be done and how it can be done in a successful way. There's some wonderful developers around. There are some that are just in for what they can get out of it, and those are the ones that I hope that you'll try to avoid.
A lot of people have moved out here thinking they're going to be the last ones ever out here. They're going to close the door behind them, but it doesn't always work that way. This was all pristine desert at one time, and Mountain Brook got built. They thought it was the end, and Peralta Trails got built, and Trotta del Oro. So there is more coming. We just need to have a handle on it so that it's something that we all would want. The Board of Supervisors were approached by a community group that formed called Gold Canyon Community Incorporated. They somehow got in contact with Arizona State University, who has graciously done studies for cities and communities. In early October, a survey will be going out. So don't throw this away. If you want to be a part of your future and show people what you think, answer it honestly. We're used to seeing things through the same eyes every day. You drive the same road. You take somebody with you in that car, they see something you don't see. That's why it's good to have a fresh set of young eyes that have new tools at their disposal, and who knows what they can come up with. And of course, nobody's bound by anything that they do come up with, but it's going to be interesting to see, and maybe some great ideas will come out of this. So starting in January, you might see some students out here doing some legwork, and it's great that it gives them an opportunity too. They can get college credit for this for the rest of their lives. If any of this gets used, they can look back and say, hey, I helped plan that community.
Development's going to come, and it's kind of what you want it to be. Do you want it to be 30,000 homes that come in and surround you, or do you want to have some control and some input into it? So I would encourage people who live here now to be proactive in a positive way, because it's going to come. It may not be tomorrow, but it's going to be here at some point.